everyone. Welcome to Life, Love, and Conservation with me, your host, Carolyn Hennesy, joined pretty much, I would think probably more rather than less, by one of my nearest and dearest, Miss Tracy Powell. We're going to talk about you today on Life, Love.
Just sprung that on me.
Yes,
just now.
I know. Surprise, surprise. Welcome. This is sort of a get to know you, hang out with me, yours truly. We've got Liza Jane, the one of the first pups. We have Sophie Tucker sitting over there with Miss Tracy, and welcome to the Flop House. This is what I've sort of done with my garage. It's also called the House of the Eastern Star and Golden Lotus Social Club, because we have a loft that I discovered when I was taking down the walls and the drop ceiling, and we sort of turned it into a mahjong parlor / room for nefarious things. Anyway, we're coming to you, as often as we possibly can, and hopefully that will even increase. So today, we're going to be talking a little bit about life. And last time we had our trapeze teacher, Ruth Wilhoit, here with us, talking about sort of her aspect, her perspective on trapeze and life. And I realized in watching the podcast that I really didn't let Ruth talk at all.
I didn't see it.
Pretty much at all. No, I mean, I didn't. So I'm not going to make that mistake again. And today, for our life segment, and by the way, that's going to run the gamut, as long as this podcast goes. We're not going to just sort of, keep it contained. We're gonna explode it out. But today, I think since you're going to be here so much, we should really get to know Tracy. A lot of you know me because of various interviews, because of the work on screen or on stage, or what you've read, et cetera, et cetera. But we don't know you yet.
Wow.
And we should, because Tracy's life has been fascinating, and what she's doing now is fascinating. And
Is it?
You don't think it is?
Well, who knows? Who knows?
You don't think it is?
Fascinating to be
I refer to her as a Broadway hoofer.
Oh, well.
Am I
okay.
incorrect? Please do tell.
No, I'm a dancer. That was my bread and butter. Musical theater is my bread and butter.
There you go.
There we go. So I am now head of a department at a girls' school at Louisville High School in Woodland Hills, and
Which you also attended.
That's right. I went there.
You also went there.
I went.
You were an alum.
I am, and a lot of teachers are an alum. I'll plug Louisville now for a second since I brought it up, but I think that's a sign of, if all the alums come back to teach there, it's a sign of enjoying your high school years, basically. Yeah. So, so I came in and took over the dance department, and trust me,
10 years ago.
Like 13 years ago, and I thought, how are they putting me in charge of teenage girls? This is scary, and
because we ourselves identify as basically 16, 17 anyway.
Well, yeah,
even now.
But I was also like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's been, life in a dressing room and on the road it can be pretty raucous. And I was thinking I should not be in charge of children, but but they put me in charge anyway. And then more charge, and then the classes increased, and then I took over the musical, and then I took over the department and all that kind of stuff. So though things like this and our adventures and our conservation and anything I can do to help anywhere and I don't write, but when you do, I love to support and try to be a part of it somehow. And so still perform. God bless my agents who kept me on. So so I still do that, but the teaching has obviously turned into full time.
Right, but you said something really interesting, and you said, a dressing room and life on the road can be really raucous. So let's go back, because what she's not telling you, which I of course will drag out of her, is that you've been on the road with Debbie Reynolds. For those of you who don't know who Debbie Reynolds is, look her up. With Keith Carradine, with Mac Davis. Look all these people up. I mean, because you did The Unsinkable Molly Brown. You did Will Rogers Follies. You did...
touring, I mean, I've done yeah, on the tons of stuff in town or sitting in places, and then the things that traveled around were companies of Sound of Music, My Fair Lady, Pippin. I've done 10 a chorus lines.
10 of chorus lines. Always the role of
Sheila.
Right. Sheila with the volume.
Uh,
You know more about musical theater in my personal life than almost anybody I know. So singer and dancer.
Certainly not. Yeah, I mean, I used to like to think. I want to keep being educated in that because I do like to go way back. So, as you and I both are fans of TCM and old movies, like there are people like us who are considered, the keepers. People like Seth Rudetsky in New York for Broadway stuff. Like, I think I know a lot, and then I listen to him, and I just want to be a sponge to learn more and more. And hear
that's his job. I mean, that is his job.
Yeah,
you have.
But he knows all those things the same way. It's just that he's been exposed to even more people because he was in the pit of so many things and all that. But
right, he gets to live that though.
Yeah,
he gets to live that 24/7.
Right,
you are influencing young hearts and minds, and your students are going on to be on Broadway. Your students are yes, exactly.
We've put it's a girls' school, and we've sent off sound designers and stage managers, and that's not something that's. There are women in it, of course, but not as many.
Right.
And I'm sure that's growing. So it's just cool that we've boosted that as well.
But you're like the quintessential almost musical theater performer as far as I'm concerned, because you've gone all over this country. You've gone to other countries. Yeah?
No, I have not performed in other countries.
Well,
the United States over and over
it's
again.
It's diverse enough.
Yeah.
And you've gone all over this country and have plied the art and the craft continuously. And now you are, again, you're one of the shoulders that your girls will stand on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you've not only done it, but now she's passing the torch, and you're still carrying the torch. So you're still performing and passing the torch. And I got to tell you something. I will say this. I am a huge supporter of Louisville Girls School, primarily in their arts department. And I go to see everything that she does. She's got the Christmas concert dancers and singers. She's got the fall, there's the fall drama, which you do not direct, which you oversee. You direct and choreograph.
There's a Showstoppers show.
The Showstoppers, the spring musical, and what she just did was Shrek.
It was good. I felt good about
that. Good is not. Good is a good. That's no,
it felt good because obviously for everybody in all schools, we're all coming back from having not been able to have a big old audience for 2.5 years or so.
Right. And unlike a lot of private schools or some public schools, she doesn't have a theater. Okay? Which, if anyone wants to send money to Louisville Girls School and earmark it for the theater, please do. And we should actually have more than one fundraiser. But she's got, your classic auditorium that also doubles as the indoor volleyball. That also doubles as the gym.
It's the gym. Basketball, volleyball.
It's the gym.
It's the cafeteria.
It's
the church.
So what? it's chapel. So what she does with that tiny little proscenium stage is literally the stuff of miracles. And I've seen No No Nanette. I've seen Annie Get Your Gun, Shrek, Murder Curtains. I wanted to say Murder She Wrote. Kind of similar. So much Little Women. So much of what you've done.
But good job.
But
Thank you.
yes. But this production of Shrek could have gone at least off Broadway, as far as I'm concerned. It was absolutely spectacular. So what she's able to do, and that is nothing short of miraculous.
It's not just me. I have a good team.
Yes,
but
it also builds on your knowledge
Yeah.
of the working ins and outs, the nuts and bolts. And I'll tell you something. In this business, when I talk to people about, do you know who Debbie Reynolds is? Have you ever heard the name Doris Day? Do you know who Clark Gable was, or Cary Grant, or And somebody go, well, oh, I think I do. Oh yeah, I've heard that name.
Well, we're now in a phase 2 where I think there are a lot of people, and there are a lot of adults that feel this way too. If the movie's in black and white, they don't care about it.
And I'll tell you something.
Stuff like that, and the good old shows and all that stuff is like, yeah, we got to bring that stuff back, and or at least make sure that they understand what they are and how that feeds what we do now.
Know whose shoulders you are standing on. Anyone in the entertainment industry who does not know truly whose shoulders you're standing on, and I'm not talking, God bless, about Tom Cruise or Julia Roberts. No. I hope that they know whose shoulders they are standing on, why they are able to do what they are able to do in the way that they're able to do it. That is my task for anyone in the entertainment industry who is watching this, and hopefully you will tell all your friends that you should. Yay. But go and do some homework and research for those of you who haven't, because it can only enrich you, truly, and you'll be very smart at cocktail parties. So yay you. And
Thank you.
No, please, it's life. It's not just my life. It's life. It's our life. It's life in general. And I gotta tell you, because we're still feeling our way in this podcast, and I'm looking at us going, you know what? We should probably be closer together, but we're not.
Okay,
because
we'll adjust that next time.
We'll adjust it next time, or we won't. Because, as I say, this is
sometimes we can drop a person.
We might be able to drop a person. Yes, this is the drop space.
The guest.
This is the guest space. But then again, we're in the flop house.
Yeah,
we're in the Golden Lotus Social Club.
I was just going to say, I was going to go back. I don't know if this is off topic or not, but it's because I had said something about dressing rooms and being on the road and all that stuff, which can be a wild time. But that's why we became friends, was a dressing room. A dressing room is a very special place.
It is.
And I think all workplaces have their own special magic, whatever that is or not. But I kid you not, there's nothing like a dressing room.
No.
And a theater dressing room also is different, because in film and TV, you generally have your own space. And in theater, you have to share that space a lot. Not always, but a lot. And especially if you're in the chorus, which I've done principal roles, I've done second banana roles, and a million chorus roles. So you're in there with a bunch of women,
and there's no prudishness allowed. You cannot, because you're changing, and
and I think the girls' dressing room is raunchier than the boys' dressing room.
Much.
So we were doing a 3-woman thing, and we had known each other. I don't think we said this in the last podcast, but we had known each other socially through other friends,
right? But very, not, very, very peripheral.
Yeah, and not until we'd been at parties and sat 3 feet from each other,
right? But
we did not become friends until we shared a dressing room.
That's right. Yeah, and you can always tell on a film or on a television production who the theater people are, because the people who have not grown up and honed their craft in the theater are very often, I'm sorry, I'm changing my shoe. I need to go behind the curtain. And the theater people are like, yeah, I'll take it off. Yeah, what do you need? It's like, no, do you want a curtain on? It's like, no, I come from the theater. I don't particularly care. If they haven't seen it by now, they need to go and grow up. Do you know what I mean?
It's true.
It's because you don't have the time. You often don't have the luxury. Sometimes you're running around naked backstage. Yeah. It's like trying to get from one side of the stage to the other. Yeah, taking this off, a quick change here, and you hopefully sometimes
and they build you boots and they do stuff, but you just got to get it done and get back on.
Yeah, it's not like Minsky's burlesque,
right?
In a dressing room, except the times when it is, but it's always for a purpose. It's never, hey, look at me. It's I need to get from one side of the stage to the other.
Yeah,
and there's no room for modesty. Yeah. So that's a little bit about you, and since we've gotten to know each other in that 3-woman play, we do escape rooms. We watch Supernatural. We're doing a Supernatural marathon. She's become my conservation ally, my advocacy ally. What else? And I forced her during COVID to take trapeze class.
She did force me.
I did. I forced her, and now she's very glad that I did.
I am.
Yeah, I know.
I still, it still depresses me sometimes, but overall, I'm very glad. I'm very glad. It's a cool thing. Not a lot of people do it. More people do it than you think, but it's still, when you say you're doing trapeze, people go, "I'm sorry, what?"
Is it like no? Are you kidding? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Where do you do that? Well, by the end of my driveway.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, it's an upper body workout like nobody would believe.
Yeah.
It's,
we love it.
It's cool. I do love it.
We love it. Speaking of love, segue. Thank you. For this podcast, for this episode, I said, you know what, Trace? I think you should come up with several selections. Don't tell me what they are. Several selections for a love topic, like love and conservation. So for love, and by the way, what you're hearing kind of walking around, that's Arbuckle. That's one of the, oh, hello, did you hear your name? Did you hear your name, little one? Hello, little man. Well, we may pick you up and show you to the audience. Anyway, he's sort of wandering. You want to come up? You want to come up? Come here. Come here. Oh, you know what? It doesn't even matter whether you want to or not. You need to be shown.
I can't believe the cat has stopped.
Hello. Yes, and the cat is up in the loft. Maybe he wants to come down. Maybe he doesn't. Anyway, this is Arbuckle. So I said to Tracy, pick a few ideas. Don't tell me what they are, and I will pick a number from 1 to 10.
Yeah, I was supposed to put them on
number
paper.
them.
I know. So I numbered them in my phone.
I was just numbering in your phone. So she's going to pick the love topic, and
well, you are going to pick.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the love topic. That's right. When we get rolling, we're going to every episode we're going to take suggestions from you guys out there. We're going to take 10 suggestions, and we're going to put them into a hat or a hopper,
or just send one or two. But we'll gather.
We'll probably, hopefully, a lot of people will send one or two, and then we will call, and then I'll pick one, and we will talk about it. So, but for today. Tracy. So I'm going to Tracy's pick.
Actually, I have 9.
You have 9?
So number between 1 and 9.
Okay, number between 1 and 9. First thing that came to my head was 4.
4. Okay, so my 4 is, what do you think is an acceptable age difference? Are you for it, against it? How big has any age difference been with you and a boyfriend? And what do you think is acceptable? Is there a limit to it? And yeah, all those ranges.
Well, first of all, let's say voting age on either side. That's number 1. It's got whoever is both of them has to be at least voting age, but that's number 1. For me, I had a boyfriend when I was very young, because they say if a girl's got a daddy, girl's got daddy issues. You what? No, not you?
No, not me, but yes.
Well, good for you.
Tracy, I was very lucky.
Yes.
Very lucky.
Oh, look who's getting comfortable. One of my very first boyfriends there was a 16-year, hang on.
First, so how old were you?
I was 18. I had just turned 18 or 19. And he was 16 years older. It did not last long. I was of voting age. I was obviously a consent. It didn't last long because there was, you at 18, you don't know how to tie your shoelaces, for God's sakes. So he should have known better.
Yeah.
But what was interesting is that we ended up becoming very good friends.
And I don't think but see, now you're bringing the other thing that I didn't really know how to phrase, and I thought it will come out naturally in the conversation.
You mean the creepiness of it?
No, but well, maybe when you're 18 and he's 16 years older.
Yeah.
But then when you're 30 and they're 16 years older, it's not that big a deal. I don't think. I think there's a period of time where you sort of catch up to each other.
Right. If you're 40 and the person's 56, you're fine. But it's those formative years.
Yes.
Where, I didn't know what I was doing.
I wouldn't have either. I couldn't have done
so
that.
Fortunately, but I think I did know enough that I thought, well, no, this is not going to, this is.
How long did it last?
I think just maybe 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't, it wasn't. But I don't, for me in a love relationship, I've never, you want to get down? Okay, here we go. We're getting down. I'm of an age now where I can't really into
Well,
much
that's what
older.
happens. It flips. No, now it flips.
I can't really find it much older.
That was
So I
part of-
have to go younger, but I'm not comfortable. That's just me. I'm not really comfortable going younger. I mean, maybe a couple of years here and there. But 10 years? I don't think so. I don't know. Certain any like 15 years. I think the common cougar is like the cutoff is like 15 years. I would be so uncomfortable with that.
That would have to be an extraordinarily
Mature individual
with, as you said in the last one, not an overnight bag, not a lot of baggage.
Can't have a lot of baggage. But if you're thinking, like, let's say somebody is 65 and they're dating a 50-year-old. Well, that 50-year-old is like a god to a 35-year-old or a 30-year-old.
So if the man is 65?
No, if the woman is 65 and then 15 years, so the guy's 50, right? Well,
yes, she'd have to be.
Then I'm not, but let's say as a maybe someday we'll be 65-year-old woman.
No, she's really not.
Looking at that 50-year-old, you're thinking, well, that's just so young. That's so young. I don't want any baggage. Well, that person's got 50 years of baggage.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe a couple of marriages, some kids, but right? But you take that 50-year-old man who's now possibly to a 35-year-old woman, you take 15 years, as we were talking about.
Right.
When you get to a certain point, 35 and 50, well, he looks like he's just a god to that 35-year-old woman. He's so mature. He's so much, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. But a 65 and 15, maybe some 65-year-old women would be just fine with that.
Well, and I think that's the double standard where the 65-year-old woman needs to be a gorgeous, classy, beautiful woman to have a gentleman who's 15 years younger than her.
Do they? What if no? I mean, I would think it was if a 50-year-old man has got smarts, common sense, he's made it to 50. He's probably hopefully been through what he doesn't want in a relationship. And he says, there is a mature woman who's got it together. She's been through, she's had 65 years. I want that. Does she have to be gorgeous? I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. If he's, let's face it, certainly in this business, in this town, she better look like she's, 40. But how many of us
or at least 50?
But how many of us do?
Right.
Because most 50-year-old men do want the 25-year-old.
Right.
Okay. But
you're right, not all do.
But the smart 50-year-old man will take a look at a woman who has got it together, maybe because looks, they all fade, but you want to be with somebody that you can talk to in the morning.
Sure. And by the time we're this age too, even though we talk about kids,
and
they're mostly grown now.
This age for us is not 65.
No. Not even in the 60s.
That's right.
But they, by now, even the kids are grown, so the issues are a little bit smaller.
One would hope. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you hope that you've got a guy at whatever age that would look at someone who's younger than we are and would say, they're not a Victoria's Secret model,
right,
but I don't care.
Or they want to start a family over.
Exactly. But they know who they are. They know where they've been. They know what their history is. They're smart. They're well educated. They're funny. They're conversant. They've got
the same interests.
Right. Exactly. Same interests, varied interests. Exactly. So we would hope that we would be attracting those individuals. Right. However, what did I say not 5 minutes ago? I don't know that a younger guy would be that I could do that. I would hope that I would be that right, exactly.
Got you.
So here I'm saying that guy should really want someone like me.
But do you want that?
Right. I
think you would if he, like you just said, the most important thing, and that's another topic, but the most important thing is let's not even do all of the things that you just said, but
right,
same interests,
right,
and support, and let's face it, you not competitive with.
Well,
And let's hope that by this time they would have some kind of business, successful, relatively successful, at least something that they're passionate about, which would bring success, even if it's not huge monetarily, but emotional, so that they're not threatened by whatever it is you're doing in your successes and all that stuff.
if
Being younger than you.
yes,
Right.
and if they don't, then that shaving kit full of baggage, you know, right? The fact that they don't perhaps have the vocation, that's a baggage car.
Right.
That's, you know, it's like we disconnect and let it go back down the line.
Because they don't have a
No, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If they don't,
I do.
Who wants that? And
Part of what
and
is
no
very
actors.
attractive to me are men that are good at their job, whatever that is.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. That's
And
very
no
attractive.
actors. No actors for me.
Okay, so that's another topic. Dating someone in the business.
No. Well, we don't even need to discuss that. It's a no.
Well, I have discussion
Wait a
topics
minute.
with them.
Wait.
That'll be a different day.
In the business or an actor?
In the business.
Okay, that's different.
I know.
Totally different.
I know.
Totally different.
So there's a whole other branch of things we can discuss about that if you want to do that a different day.
All right. Yeah, we can. All right, so we'll save that. You'll spring it on me. All right.
It's another number
Yeah,
there.
I
So
love
we'll
that.
see if
All
we
right,
land
so
on it.
love amongst the cougars. All right, and so now, of course, speaking of preservation, people who are extraordinarily well preserved, perhaps, we're going to bring on
I like that.
our what? Oh yeah, like this. Hello. We're going to bring on Eric Davis. You know, my fabulous producer.
Hello.
Co-producer of the show, and one of my personal preservation and conservation mentors. Hello, darling. Big in the animal advocacy world. So for our advocacy topic, as we will be doing for every show, including in addition guests, right, honey?
Yes. We're definitely gonna have some guests on, and we're gonna have hopefully a lot more kind of really awesome conservation stories and stuff like that, you know. But yeah, you know, it's like
what are we talking about? What are we talking about this, you know, today?
Yeah,
for this
I think today, first I want to talk about how you and I met, and then I think I want to talk a little bit about just the general roles of zoos and why you and I care so much, you know.
Absolutely. I know I could talk about that pretty much till tomorrow morning.
So for everyone who didn't know, Carol and I met actually way back in early 2014 when our mutual friend Gray Stafford was like, "You two need to talk."
Yeah, who sends his love, by the way. I spoke with him today. He sends his love.
Oh, I love Gray so much. So anyway, so you and I have actually been fast friends kind of ever since, as we've worked on, you know, different conservation projects, different kind of large publicity stunts, and all that kind of fun stuff, all really in the defense of zoos.
Yes.
And it's one of those things where people always talk about, why do you care so much? I don't. By trade, I'm a marketer. I work for companies. I market products and services and stuff like that. I love that, but my passion is with like global conservation and obviously preventing animals from going extinct. That's what I care about. I know, Carolyn, that's what's near and dear to you.
Huge.
And
huge.
So first, I want to talk. I guess let me pose a question to you a little bit. Is, you know, and we'll kind of dive into the numbers because I actually want to bring in the numbers here. But for you, why do you love zoos so much, Carolyn?
In a nutshell, I mean, I could expound millions of reasons, but in a nutshell, I'm very lucky in that when someone says something that is the absolute truth, and even if I don't like it, it resonates with me, and I accept it, and I realize it, and I have to acknowledge it. And I'm an ambassador for my fabulous Los Angeles Zoo. And it was put so clear to me in a nutshell, listening to someone speak at an event, at one of the beastly balls that the zoos hold. And this individual was saying, this planet, this earth, it's all we have. There may be others, you know, maybe other solar systems, star systems, planets. It's all we've got right now, because we do not have the capability to get anywhere else. And it's to get in, to any place that's livable, so to speak. And it's a spaceship. And the rivets, every time we lose a species, and we lose 150 a day, as you know, roughly, the rivets are popping out, and this little spaceship is going to explode at one point, and that's it. We're done. And advocates, conservation groups, preservation groups, but zoos, modern zoos and aquariums are running around, you know, sort of figuratively speaking, some of us literally, and trying to pop those rivets back in to keep this planet, because, you know, from you know, exploding into space.
Yes.
Modern, they are the last, even 100 years ago, I think, and I think you would agree with me on this. If the course of human development, societal and cultural development, had just forked off this way as opposed to this way, and we didn't go here, but we had gone here, we might have been able to stave off the need for so many modern zoos. We might be able to have actually kept so many animals in the wild. We could have possibly thwarted the, you know, the ivory trade. Somehow we would have more land mass for you know, as wild habitat, but we didn't. And there's no going back right now. So right now, we need every zoo to become AZA accredited. We need every zoo to raise themselves up and into the modern world, because that's the and to talk to each other all over the world. Same with modern aquariums, because that's the only way. The zoos and the people who work at them, who care for those animals, who are the support staff, the veterinary staff, the keepers, the, you know, the vets. They
continual research.
All the researchers and flowing back and forth. Thanks now to the internet, to social media. All of this can fly, you know, from Dusseldorf to Los Angeles in the blink of an eye. And those strides that have been made can be used to help save species. They are the ones that are doing God's work, because the animals don't need us, but we need them. And when they go, and listen, 150 a day, well, some of those are microbes, but we'll never see them again. And they are integral. So that's why I love modern zoos and aquariums. Not talking about the roadside attractions, not talking about the mom and pops, forget that, you know, but modern zoos, and almost equally as much as I love zoos are the people who work at them, because God knows, no matter what those batshit crazy activist organizations who are truly the stunt pullers, no matter what they say, you know,
no one's getting rich.
No one's getting rich.
Yeah.
No one's getting rich. I know they say, yeah, I would love, you know, you talk with like Mike Bona, who's the hoofstock at the Los Angeles Zoo. He's the who brings the giraffes into the world. You know, when the mama giraffe needs, you know, you talk with Miss Vicky, who's one of the elephant keepers. You talk with Jeannie Vassos, who was one of the members of the Greater Los Angeles Zoo Association, who's now retired. But you talk with any of them, and they just go, "I would love to see my palatial mansion that the activists think that I have." You know why? You know why we don't have them? Because the money that these organizations raise at an event like the Beastly Ball, which is coming up June 4th, contribute. The money that they raise goes back to the animals. It does. It doesn't go to marketing. It doesn't go to palatial mansions.
Exactly.
It goes to feed, you know, care for, love, you know, enrich the lives of these animals that then serve as ambassadors. So that's why I love zoos. That's in a nutshell. So there you go. Okay.
I love it. And, you know, you and I have been lucky enough to kind of travel a little bit around the world. And we've been able to see firsthand some of these programs. Because that's the one thing is when you go around the world and you begin talking to boots on the ground conservation programs, you learn that it's not an animal rights group that's funding it. You learn that it's a zoo that's funding it. You know.
Exactly. Oh, exactly. Oh, yeah, absolutely. The San Jose Zoo is solely responsible for a small you know what? I've got to do some more research. But you know what? I have.
Well,
I did an episode of Animal Magnetism about this, and
yes.
the San Jose Zoo is solely responsible
Yes.
for an entire village that preserves like a species of gorilla, like the lowland gorilla. I could be way off on whatever.
No, we'll bring these stories to everyone, which is what I'm really excited about. But
exactly.
but when you are around the world, that's what you see. You know, like I've had the pleasure and honor of like living in Cambodia since on and off since 2014.
Yeah.
And you know, like COVID, the whole world shut down during COVID. But you know what didn't shut down is zoos didn't stop giving. So in 2020, AZA Zoos gave over it's like $208 million to 115 in 115 different countries. They gave $208 million in conservation funding for local conservation programs. So local wildlife species continue to be protected, taken care of, and thrive because of AZA Zoo.
Yeah. And if you here's a really good question that anybody watching can ask of any activist organization versus an advocacy organization. You can see if you go up to like a zoo staff member and say, what's a program? What's a law? What's a piece of legislation? What's a building? What's a piece of research that your institution, your zoological institution has been party to or has been responsible for? And they can say, well, we started this hoofstock program. Well, we started this invertebrate program. Well, we sent this research to, to Phnom Penh. We just, and then you go up to an activist organization and you say, what's the legislation? What's the this? What's the program? How many have you this? And they go, well, we threw ketchup on a fur coat. They are. Well, oh no, we don't do that. We just
we picked it at the zoo, but we've never been inside.
We picked it at the zoo, but we've never been inside, so we don't actually know what they're doing. But we just know the elephants are unhappy. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that because they do not care the way zoos and aquariums do about the animals. They care about what celebrities they can meet.
Yes, no,
and money coming in.
That's exactly it. And, Carolyn and Tracy, we've had the pleasure of meeting some really incredible rescue people who've done really incredible marine animal rescues, down all up and down the West Coast.
Yeah.
And, those are the people who are keeping animals floating in the middle of the night to make sure they continue to breathe. They're the people who are like straw feeding or tube feeding, like sea lion pups that are starving to death.
Yeah.
They're the ones putting in working endless, tireless hours for animals they are just going to release back into the wild that no one will ever see. No one except them will ever care about.
But but if you're like, for instance, at SeaWorld, which is one of the great organizations in terms of behind the scenes staff care, how they treat their collections, because those people will leave their family Christmas or New Year's party. When they get the call, they will go out onto the beach, on the rocks, in the middle of the night, finding those stranded sea lion pups while the activists are throwing bottles and rocks at them.
No, you and I have seen it, unfortunately, firsthand.
Exactly. I mean, it's what's in certain hearts versus what's not in certain hearts. Do you know what I mean?
Certainly. And that's what I want people to understand is as we bring these stories, one of the stories I really can't wait to share with you, Carolyn, and everyone else is how many species zoos care for behind the scenes that no one ever sees. So an example is like the San Antonio Zoo has a team that's gone around, and while fracking was really prevalent on the East Coast, they had people going around collecting cave species, because cave species of like little animals and minnows and little fish and stuff, their species only exist in one cave system because they're an isolated species. They had teams going around collecting these species and preventing them from going extinct from fracking chemicals. And so there's lots of stuff I want to share that we're going to share. But that's why I'm so excited to be a part of this with you guys.
Well, it's just, we're off to the races, honey. We're gonna, God willing, we do great things, and we actually contribute to a bit of outgoing knowledge for people. So thank you.
I'm gonna jump out, and I'll let you ladies close this out.
We're just gonna say goodbye. We're just gonna wrap up. That's all. Oh, did he leave?
He actually
just literally
was like, I'm gonna say goodbye.
I'm gonna say goodbye. I mean, that was that. Well, thank you very much, Eric, wherever you are.
It's been swell, Eric.
Well, actually, it has been swell.
No, it's been great.
thanks, honey.
Thank
And
you.
thanks for telling them about you and what you do.
Sure.
So you know, when we do have our fundraiser, we're actually thinking about doing a little evening with Carolyn and Tracy. You know, duets and you know, a little cabaret as a fundraiser for Louisville High School. We will we will let you know about that, and as it gets closer, we will let you know about the Beastly Ball, which is an extraordinary evening here at the Los Angeles Zoo. Food, and animals, and Pink's hot dogs, and elephants, and, you know, auction items like a guitar signed by Zoo board member Slash. He donates one every year. He's a peach. He's fantastic. So we'll be bringing you more things that you guys can feel certainly really good about contributing to if you find a few quarters between the cushions of your couch. So anyway, thank you for being for being a part of this episode of Life, Love, and Conservation with me, your host Carolyn Hennesy, and Tracy Powell, hoofer extraordinaire, and we will see you next time. Oh, I forgot. Of course. What's a conservation move that you can make in your own life? Yes. A conservation preservation move, something that directly affects animals, something that indirectly affects the environment, which of course then will directly affect animals. Last week it was last episode it was put a perforated vegetable bag full of rocks in your toilet tank. That's of course, absolutely, because that will displace the water. You will use less water. You will have a low flow toilet, whether you intended to or not. There you go. You didn't buy one, but whether you bought one, now you've got one. For this episode, please research and invest in your own set of non-disposable straws. Okay?
Simple. They're
very simple and cheap, incredibly cheap. Amazon, God bless. And use them, because the light that goes on in the eyes of your gracious server when you say, I'd like a Diet Coke. No, and no straw. They go, no straw. That's right, no straw. That's right. And you know, you've made them think. So please invest in a set of non-disposable straws, silicone or metal. They're terrific. All right. Thank you so much. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.